Oh, I didn't see you guys there. How are you guys? Rocco here. You guys know who it is with the coffee, as usual. I just want to thank you guys for being amazing this past year. I wish we were able to finish it out, but I wish you good luck going forward and furthering your studies all the way through high school and into college. Thank you to Andy. You've been amazing, and thank you for making everything possible this past year. See you guys later.
I think my favorite part of balancing the books is just the excitement and the enthusiasm that the students have when we walk in there after their school day. Seeing the smiles on all their faces and how ready they are to dive into the lesson plans and talk about all of their interests and what they have coming up in the week and on the weekend.
This year when we did the public speaking activity, it was like amazing. There was one student that wrote a speech that was like incredible. It was about like how, he would sort of like wake up every morning and like pray with his family, and then his mom would make this like special dish for breakfast every morning. And it was like so beautifully written, and like everyone in the room was kind of like in awe. Like this kid like hadn't really talked that much, and then he gave this speech that was like really like emotional and like clearly very close to his heart. And we were all like so proud of him, and everyone was clapping for him.
We were doing a lesson on public speaking. This was a challenging lesson mostly because a lot of students didn't have the courage to come up and speak, which is very nerve-wracking for all ages, or they had a hard time thinking of a speech to write because they've never had an activity like this before in class. One student went up and prepared a 10-minute speech and delivered it to the whole class and left them completely speechless. He wrote a speech about preparing a traditional meal for his family as a way to provide for them because they had provided for him for so many years of his life. I was so speechless, and I still remember to this day just the grace and the poise that he had at a time that most students wouldn't have gone up and done the same thing as him. So he was a leader in that sense, and in that moment is one of those times that I'm supposed to be the mentor, but I was learning from him to be the first one to go up, to do it with so much confidence. I was very impressed, and I remember it now.
I was lucky enough to present on my birthday, and after I presented, some of the kids surprised me with like a happy birthday card, and they spelled out happy birthday in 6 different languages for me. I thought that was really cool.
Last year, I believe it was my sophomore year, I took one student the entire year, and by the end she was inspired to create her own cooking club, which was amazing. And just her telling me that balancing the books contributed to that made me realize that we were making a difference.
During last semester, I missed a session, and then I had Whitman capstone, so I missed 2 sessions back to back. And Elisa told me that the 3 girls that I tutored were just wondering like, where's Tyler at? What's he doing? And that really just made, like, put a big smile on my face, and just like wondering like, oh, like I can't wait to like see them again because they're gonna be so happy to see me. So that was definitely like a memorable thing for me. It's just like how excited they were for every Friday. Like they would come sprinting in the classroom, or already be sitting down before we even get there. They'd be like Tyler, like I'm reading this book, or Tyler, look at the picture of like my mom's new baby, and just like super like, just like experiences that like you just don't get on a daily basis, and that was just so cool and memorable for me.
A group of students came in a little late, and I remember they were not up to speed with the lesson plan. I remember I had a conversation with Ruben and Nigel, these 2 students, and got them to interact with the lesson plan a little more, and I remember they wrote out, they did the whole lesson plan, they did the whole speech that day, and even were volunteering to present.
I think one of the most memorable interactions I had was with someone at my table. His name is Sir, and it was so much fun. He does track, I did track in high school, and we just kind of like immediately related to that. And then we talked, and then having that kind of point of common interest allowed us to go right into like talking about what we want to do, who we are kind of as people, and then that was like in the first or second week, and I think that carried over into the rest of the semester and then rest of the Balancing the Books program.
A student in my group, Samira, told me about her story of how she reduced her hours at her job at a fast food restaurant in order to stay after school to study for a class she was struggling with. She was one of only 3 students who passed the class. Her hard work and dedication to her education was inspiring and is a constant reminder to me never to take for granted the value of education.
This one time we were doing a teamwork exercise, and you had strings attached to a rubber band which went around a cup, and you had to pull the strings and lift the cup and create a stack of cups. And it's fun. All the activities we do are fun. But that one really stood out to me because my group was bad. We were bad. I was bad. My group was bad. And every other group finished before us. So like we were getting frustrated. We wanted to give up, but we didn't. We really didn't, and we kept pushing through it. And one cup by one, we got it up. We created a pyramid, and that feeling that we got from after that was amazing.
There was this one entrepreneurship activity we did where the kids had to create a new product, and our group decided to make a chargeable mat, which basically allowed anyone to put their electronics, laptop, telephone, etc. on the mat, and it would be charged. But we were coming up with, what it would look like, the structure, and Dominic was very quiet. So I said to Dominic, "What are you thinking?" And he was like, "Oh, well, what if you could, maybe you could roll it and made a rollable mat or a folding mat." And then I said, "Well, why don't you share that with the group?" So then he shared it, and we ended up making it like a key part of our idea that it's very convenient. You can travel with it. It can be rollable, foldable, whichever way. And so that was a really happy moment for him and happy moment for me because I knew I made a difference in his learning experience, and I knew that he had a tremendous amount of pride.
And there's this amazing kid, Alex. He graduated 8th grade after my first year teaching, so he was in the high school for my second, so he was a member of Balancing the Books for my second year. However, the very first week of Balancing the Books, he must have asked his friends or something, because he showed up on the very first lesson of my second year, and he said hi to everyone, asked how we were doing. He remembered all of our names, and it was just absolutely incredible how this kid came all the way from his high school just to come visit and say hi and say how much he missed us, how much he misses Balancing the Books. So that was a really, really cool moment.
When myself and my partner Tiffany had to get up in front of the whole classroom and present our lesson plan. This was something that I'd never done. I had never spoken to a younger class before, and I wasn't really sure how this was going to go, and me and Tiffany were nervous. So we spoke to our group beforehand, and they gave us the validation that we were going to do amazing, that they believed in us. And it was so nice to know that it wasn't just the tutors believing in the students and wanting to push them, but the students really want to push the tutors as well.
Last semester, I was covering the class for Lisa. The lesson plan was on public speaking. I was really nervous, and when the time came to do an activity on public speaking, not only did the students carry out the activity, but they were super enthusiastic and they were really lively. Even the students that were pretty shy throughout most of the year, they sort of just got up really confidently and did the activity, and they were actively giving each other feedback, but in a really respectful manner, and that was really special for me, because when you can see it in your students' faces that they're enthusiastic and they're engaged, that's sort of the moment when they're getting the most out of it, and when we as tutors are also getting the most out of it, and when we get to engage and sort of connect with them the most.
The group I had to deal with this past semester, they were an amazing group of girls, but they were incredibly quiet originally. After a few sessions, I realized that they started coming out of their shells and they started interacting more with us, the tutors, and with the rest of the class. And even though it was something small, watching them grow over time was really, really memorable. It made a huge impact on my life personally, because I realized that what I share and the information I give and the lessons I give to these kids are important, because it shapes them as people and also shapes me as a person.
One thing that was really special about this year for me was in the middle school, I was able to bounce between all the different tables just depending on who was teaching that week. And just getting to see and learn about all the awesome different students who were there getting to build connections with them and laugh with different people every week, it was really special for me, and I'm definitely going to remember it.
Early in the fall semester, a student at my table, AJ, told me that it was his goal to go to a high school where he could be in a specialized program for computer science and computer design, because in his free time at home, he was teaching himself how to build a computer. I just remember being really impressed that at such a young age, he had such determination and commitment to learning something so complicated outside of school, and it really reminded me that I should also be striving to, be passionate about other activities outside of just my traditional coursework. So I think that that's something that I really took with me from the program. And of course, I couldn't forget the rest of my amazing students. So to Dom and Kelly and Olivia, thank you for being so great this entire year, and I wish you the best of luck as you move on to 8th grade and your first year of high school.
The first session we had, I was a little nervous going into it because I know some of the students would know the other tutors from past years, so I didn't know anyone, so I was just nervous that everyone would already know each other. So I walked in and I sat at my table, and immediately everyone started talking to me, and we were all just kind of talking about our lives and what we like to do. So that made me just feel so comfortable going right in. And shout out to Josie and Anna, who were there every time. And it was great getting to know them, and I hope that they do great things in high school.
I was fortunate enough to have the same awesome group of students, Cassie, Alyssa, and Laura, for 2 years, and I think coming back the second year and hearing them tell me about how their lessons from 7th grade carried over and were impactful in their lives, like scheduling, budgeting, entrepreneurship, and hearing them remember those things and apply them to take the lessons even further in the second year was really memorable and impactful for me.
Shout out to the boys at my table, striving to be the first at the pizza every single week and do our best in every activity, coming up with so many fun and just creative ideas, always laughing at the table and just having a good time, but really paying attention and really diving deep into each lesson plan, I really think was just such a great time this semester.
Shout out all of the students in both of my sessions. I'm so proud of you guys. It's been an honor being able to get to know all of you and your goals and aspirations. I'm so excited for you guys to graduate, and I can't wait to see where you go in life.
I want to shout out all the boys who sat in the back corner with me and Jack in Henninger session 1. It was always chill. You guys were always volunteering to answer questions, which was awesome. Also want to shout out my group up in the front for Henninger session 2. You guys were always asking awesome questions, always trying to engage with the lessons, and always just being hilarious, making funny comments, always brightening up my day, so I really appreciate that.
Shout out to everyone that was sort of at my table this year, Da, Bay, everyone, and Chris too. Me and Chris have been together for 2 years, tutoring together, and I'm definitely gonna miss him next year, and it'll be tough to pick up his slack. But I'm really happy to have done this with him, and I'm really happy and really honored to have met everyone that I have through Balancing the Books.
I'd also like to give a shout out to all the students that sat with me and Jason. Thank you for making my last year at Balancing the Books so special, and I can't wait to hear about all the amazing things you guys do.
At my table this year, Josie and Anna, it is amazing how great they are at drawing, how much Anna loves to read. It's incredible, and every week I look forward to coming in, and right away they sit down right next to me and like, hey, look at what I've been working on or what I've been reading, and they'll pull out their phone or pull out a little sketch pad and show all of their drawings that they're working on, and I cannot draw like they can draw in a million years, and it's amazing the talent that some of these students have that I will never have in my entire life. So that was always something that every Friday I wake up and be like, oh, I'm so excited to get to see what kind of projects they're working on.
I want to give a special shout out to my boys, Jose, Kenny, Cosmo, Tim, and Ethan. Miss you, boys.
Cosmo, Tim, Ethan, Kenny, Jose, you guys were great. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you every Friday, and it's too bad that our year got cut short.
So I want to shout out the OGs at my table, Mohammed and Hytham, and of course, Adriana, Talent, and Damien for being the most interesting and sometimes confusing trio.
So everyone in the Henninger session 2, shout out to everyone. We had a great year, even though it was cut short a little bit. but that's okay.
AJ, Olivia, Kelly, Dominic, you guys were the best. They became more than just the students that me, Molly, and Nika would hang out with, but they became our best friends. The small group discussions were turned into us asking about each other's days, weeks, weekends, what plans we had going on, and you guys became our best friends. I miss you guys already. Every single week with you guys was a blast, so thanks for being the best group ever.
I just want to shout out all of my tutors in both sessions. Thank you guys for being a great mentor and a friend for all of these students. And without your help, Balancing the Books would not be the program it is today. I also want to shout out Amy. Thank you for your guidance and help throughout the year. We are so grateful to be working with you, and we are excited to continue next year and the years after that.
Best of luck to all of you that have graduated, and we're so excited to see the rest of you guys next year.